Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, the Education Coordinator for Marlene's Market and Deli. Today's special guest that we have with us is Hansie Wong, MD and Health Coach, speaking on the topic of Get Back on Track for the New Year. And we thank all of you for being here and being a part of this wonderful workshop. Thank you so much, Hansie.
Thanks. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Happy New Year. Feel free to share your screen. It's always nice to see people and just a little bit more interaction. So I'm gonna be walking you through how to get back on track for the new year, starting with some evaluation of what areas in your life you might need some work on, and then working through creating action steps and an actual plan that you can take home or use with you since you're already at home for this week, and then using that same kind of principle for the following and for the rest of the year, hopefully, to kind of keep you on track. And just know that you can always come back and reevaluate. I know Nora has done this a few times with me before, and it's always good to just reevaluate where you are. Things change. We all know that things change, life happens, and our priorities change. So being fluid and being able to kind of go with the flow with that, and understanding why you want to reach your goals, right? That's pretty important too, which we'll talk about. Cool. So there are some handouts in the chat here, and the handouts. So if you want to print it out and use them, then that's good. Otherwise, I'm going to share them on the screen as well, and then, or you can download them from this chat here. So we'll start with the kind of an evaluation of our life and perhaps what we need to work on. You might already have a goal in mind or a resolution. I don't really need to say resolution, but or an intention in mind for the year. But this kind of gives us a better picture of maybe what we think we want to work on isn't really what we need to work on. So it's gonna be the one called Circle of Life. This is the second one in the meeting chat, and I'm also gonna share it here. Find it. Here we go. So here it is. Here's the circle of life that we'll start with here. And this is really just, there are obviously a lot more things in here. These are a lot more things in life. And so this isn't completely comprehensive, but it gives us a good starting point and a good visual of our circle of life at this time. And also knowing that this can change and it's fluid. So how does this work? We're going to, on each of these lines, you see a word, right? Spirituality, creativity, finances, career, education, health, physical activity, home cooking, or just cooking, home environment, relationships, social life, and joy. Each of these things are a part of our lives and our health and contribute to them in some way. So on each of these lines, you get to put a dot of where you are. How's, like, for example, for spirituality, if you feel like you're out on the outside of the circle, maybe out here. Can you see my cursor? Okay, good. If you feel like you're isolated or alone or kind of lost and wondering and trying to find meaning and purpose, you'd put your dot a little bit closer to the center here on this line. Okay. So obviously for these, there's some overlap, physical activity and health. Health overlaps with a lot of these things, relationships and social life overlap. So a lot of these things might overlap. And so it's really just what they mean to you, and indicating satisfaction, like how satisfied are you in your life in each of these areas. So for finances, if you feel like, hey, I'm pretty satisfied with my finances right now, you put your dot out here on the outer side of the circle here, further out. And if you feel like, I could really work on my finances, not really feeling financially stable, not satisfied, your circle of life, your dots on each of these. And once you have your dots, then you can connect your dots, and it would look something like this circle in the bottom right corner. And feel free to ask any questions on any of these if they're not clear, or if you're wondering how it relates to you. For example, career, if you are retired, might not be that applicable right now, but so it would be satisfaction of your career. Education as well is one that may or may not still pertain to you, but thinking about education as perhaps formal education that you had, or if you didn't graduate high school, but you're satisfied with where you are, you could still be out here in this outer edge of the circle. Or if you didn't graduate high school and you're not satisfied with that, you would be in here. So the satisfaction thing part is subjective, right? Subjective to you. So that's important to understand, that these are all subjective to you and to this time in life right now. Hey, Gabe, circle of life here. You can feel free to show your video if you want to. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Marcia. That's great. We'll have some time to share. That's excellent. And kind of go over. Maybe when people are, I'm gonna stop sharing here. Are we good with this? Maybe if you're done, just look up so I know, or you could give me a thumbs up sign. Gail, we were just doing the circle of life. So there's a handout here in the chat box, the second handout that says circle of life, and just plotting yours. Just give a couple more minutes. And while we're waiting, maybe think about your circle. Take a look at your circle. May not look like a circle. All right, cool. Cool, Gail. Good. So how was this exercise for you? So you got, this is an interactive workshop, so only it works best when people share. So how was this for you? What was surprising to you? Maybe what in your life needs more balance? Was for the year? What are your thoughts? You can go ahead and unmute. Or you can type in the chat if you're shy. Go ahead, Marcia.
Okay, yeah. It was kind of a surprise to look at it, and what should be a circle is not a circle. So it becomes evident right away where I should focus some energy.
Yeah. And what are those areas? You had two.
Physical activity was one of them. And then I also had one that was spirituality that I just felt that I was short on.
Okay, good.
And there's always work on financials.
Okay, nice. And do those areas fit in with perhaps what you came in with? What did you, if you had any expectations coming in terms of like goals?
No, I came in with just a open mind.
Okay, all right, cool. Good. Does anybody else want to share what their circle? Yeah, go ahead, Shelby. Go ahead and yeah.
Yeah, so mine was also not really a circle. I think I didn't really have a lot of expectations because I didn't put a lot of thought beforehand. I just kind of did it directly. Although I was slightly surprised. I think, certain things have definitely improved recently for me, like my home environment and home cooking. But I noticed, yeah, it's like I think I am lacking in my social life, relationships, and physical activity.
Okay.
Because I just recently moved, and so like I know almost nobody. And I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, like I don't know, I just hadn't really thought about all that. And I actually expected my creativity to probably be lower than it was since I haven't been like doing like the art that I normally do. But I was like, but the way I'm problem solving a lot of the things that I've been dealing with like moving and like getting settled in, like I feel like that's actually like a creative outlet I didn't realize I actually feel pretty fulfilled in. So
Sometimes it's fun. Okay, thanks. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Gail, did you have something? You unmuted yourself?
No, I'm just listening in.
Oh, okay. Did you get
I
the
took-
handout? It's in the chat. Were you able to access it?
No, I didn't get it.
Okay. It's in the chat box here. So on the bottom of the screen, there's a tab that says chat. So if you click on that, it's the second handout that says Circle of Life.
Don't let me sidetrack you, but I don't
Okay.
have a chat box.
Yeah, click on the do you have tabs on the bottom?
I got some tabs on the top. But they're to mute and stop video and
Yep.
the number of participants and
Yep.
well, let me hit more and see what there's chat.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. We're coming.
And then in that chat box, you
Tap
should
here
see
to chat or tap a message.
yeah, and then there's some already messages in there that Elizabeth put in, and you should see the Circle of Life thing.
Okay.
But while you're doing that, Nora, did you want to share? You unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I noticed that the ones that I had the lowest seemed to be really connected. So health and home cooking and home environment were all really low. And I think there's a real connection between that. And I was surprised that joy has never been my strong suit, and that one was one of the stronger ones, which surprised me. Well, I'm prop hunting, so I get to go to the thrift stores for a reason. So I think that's where the joy comes from. But yeah, so I was surprised at how low the low is and how high the high is. It's really up and down.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Good,
not
thank
as yeah, in the past it's been a little bit more even, I think.
Yeah, and you have some from the past, so you can actually compare.
Yeah, I do.
And see.
Yeah.
And just see, and when you see that, acknowledging that life changes, right? Like where you are and how you feel in your perspective of life also changes, and that changes the subjectivity of our circle as well, right? Just like you said, like you didn't, joy, thinking about joy, you might not think that it'd be high, but if you're satisfied about, you're still finding that joy in your.
Yeah. Interesting.
circle, you can identify 1 or 2 or 3 areas that probably need a little bit more love and attention, right? And so out of those 1, 2, or 3 areas, we're going to create some goals. Okay, so we want to make sure these are SMART goals. Does anybody know what SMART goals are? You've been to my talk. So SMART, yeah. So SMART, right? So it's an acronym, and S is specific. So you want your goal to be specific. M is measurable. So measurable meaning you can see a difference. That kind of gives us like a confidence booster where we can see a difference. A is attainable. Okay, so you want it to be something that you can actually do and not so far-fetched. And R is relatable. So it's relevant to you, relevant to what you want in your life. And T is time sensitive, meaning that there is a timeline. Okay, so for example, if my goal was like to lose weight or to gain, like to lose weight, right? That's a pretty broad and it's relevant to me. Say I want to like fit in a wedding dress or something like this summer. So I want to lose 5 pounds by June. So there's my time. It's relevant to me because my purpose is to fit in this wedding dress by June. It's attainable. 5 pounds over 5 months is attainable. It's not something like 30 pounds in a week, right? That would not be as attainable. And it's measurable, the 5 pounds, right? And it's specific. So see how that's a SMART goal versus I want to lose weight. Okay. So thinking about how those 1 to 3 areas that you have that need a little bit of work, now creating some SMART goals. And I do have this handout. So hold on, and it's in here. It's called SMART goals, about a little bit more about SMART goals. So let me share this. Here we go. So goal setting, so specific, measurable, action-oriented, or attainable, achievable. I like to think of it as achievable, realistic or relevant to you, and timely, so time specific. And here are some examples on the right here. You can read, I will walk at least. So if one is like exercise, like I want to exercise more, that's pretty vague. But say I want to make it more smart, you would say, I'm going to walk 30 minutes a day for at least 5 days a week after dinner. And it's relevant and realistic to me and relevant. I like R for relevant as well, because you want to make it relevant to you. You don't want to say like, hey, I want to be able to, climb Kilimanjaro, when like you don't even like to go outdoors and hike. Like that's not relevant, right? So you want to make it relevant to you. So you can read through these examples, and then on the second page, thinking further about it, what will it require? So even breaking it down even more into action steps to accomplish that goal. So sometimes even going across this column can help you create a SMART goal. So you can kind of start with like losing weight and what will it require or limiting to do that, and what's the first step to accomplish that, and then the start date. So you can use this table to help you if you need to. You might not need to. And again, this is, hopefully you got this in the email, or you can download it from this chat box. Stop sharing. And here you're really going to maybe create one SMART goal for each area, so maybe 3 max goals. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. So just keep it simple. You can continue working on your SMART goal, but does anybody have any questions or need help? Or want to share what they have so far?
I have a question.
Sure.
So what I know I have to do is find alternative sources to my favorite foods. Like I need to get off cheese and dairy, find alternate protein sources. So, you know, I could start with, I'll limit cheese to 1 meal a week or something. Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah. So that would be
or
specific.
but finding the alternatives.
So
maybe
that would
that's a
be,
diff-
so finding an alternative would be more of an action step to that goal,
to the, okay,
right?
okay.
So your SMART goal would be limit cheese, and you might even want to even make it more specific by like how much cheese, right?
Oh, that's okay.
Because you can say like 1 meal a week and like really pile it
Make it
on.
really, which I would do. Okay, you're right.
So if you really
Okay.
want to, you know,
Okay.
I mean, you know yourself best, right? And so you
Yeah,
know
no,
if
I
you're gonna
do.
kind of want to cut corners like that and find that loophole. You might not, but
No, I love loopholes.
yes. So you might want to say limit it to like 1 tablespoon, you know, a
Okay.
meal, you know, maybe 3 meals a week or something.
Okay,
So to make it, you know, you want to make it attainable, right? So you want to
right.
make it achievable. So if you're eating cheese at like every single meal right now and
Yeah.
saying, I'm going to limit it to 0, that's hard.
That's,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
hard to do. So you want to kind of set yourself up for success here. So if you know you're eating every meal, say lunch and dinner every day,
Yeah.
right? That's like 14 meals that you're doing it. You can say, hey, this week I'm going to limit it to 10 meals, right?
Okay.
And you can choose those meals. You can actually be more specific and do, okay, lunch and dinner on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
and just dinner on Tuesday, Thursday. That would be 12 meals,
Yeah.
right? Or something like that. And then we can even cut it down
Okay.
more. And those would be like action steps to do it, right?
Okay.
So your goal might be like, okay, your goal could be, I want to completely cut out cheese, but in 3 months time,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And that would be
Okay.
your time frame. And then those like kind of breaking it down would be your action steps to get there.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, May.
My creativity is nothing. I mean, what do I do to, I guess I need to find something to
Yeah.
do
So
it, right? Is it?
So creativity can be in many different ways. Like Shelby was saying, you could do something that's seemingly creative, like art, right? That's pretty obvious, like, or writing or dance or music. So something that's kind of more obviously creative. But as Shelby pointed out, like you can also be creative in how you think about things, right? And problem solving. So that takes creativity too. So that's a good one, because creativity is a hard one to kind of like, how do you make a goal to be more creative, right? So you can start with make you creative, like art or writing or music, right? Or dance. So picking something like that and say, okay, I'm going to practice drawing 1 time a week. Or I'm going to journal. You know, I'm just gonna free write, you know, like you don't have to have a topic or anything, but I'm just gonna journal maybe 3 pages every morning, 5 days a week or something.
Okay.
And those little things like just help kind of ignite your creativity. And it might not feel creative at the beginning, like you might just be copying something when you're drawing. It might not actually be tapping into that creativity, but by doing that action, it will kind of will probably allow you to start becoming more creative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question is the home cooking. I mean, I guess not complete don't cook because, you know, my husband cook all the time. When I cook, he doesn't eat, so I don't cook. No, I mean, you know, I have no satisfaction or satisfaction, you
Okay,
know, about
okay.
that topic. That topic is almost, to me, is like,
Yeah, it's not relevant. That's okay. You could
Right.
just put it in the middle, you know, like your dot could be in the middle
okay.
on the outside of the circle because you're satisfied with him cooking. Right? Like, you're satisfied that you don't
Sometimes
have to
not,
cook,
but I kind of
you know?
go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could actually be, you know, so it did, and this is where the subjectivity comes in, right? So home cooking doesn't necessarily mean you need to do the home cooking, right? You could just be satisfied with like eating at home, right? And satisfied that you're not doing much of the home cooking, but somebody else is and you're still eating at home. So you're kind of satisfied with that whole situation, and that's okay.
Okay.
Some people could say like, hey, I'm not cooking at all. I have like 0 home cooking and I'm completely satisfied with that. Right. And their dot would still be on the outside of the circle.
Okay. So it's outside the circle?
Or, you know, like kind of on the outer
side.
outer
Okay.
side. So, but
Okay.
it just depends on how you feel. It sounds like you're like satisfied. Maybe in the middle. Maybe you probably be maybe in the middle of the line there. Like you're not
Okay.
satisfied or not satisfied. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Shelby also commented on your comment with the creativity, that decorating your space can invite creativity. And even reorganizing your space can invite that. You don't even have to decorate it, you know, even just like changing up your bedroom, right? Like moving the furniture every year or something can invite creativity, just to see things from a different perspective. So that's great. Thanks, Shelby.
Okay. Thank you. That's good. Okay.
Anybody else? And anybody else have, you know, can chime in too for ideas like solutions. Yeah. Anybody else want to share any SMART goals? Yeah, Marcia. Oh, you might have to unmute. Sorry, you have to unmute yourself. I'm going to ask to unmute.
Is it unmuted now?
Interesting. It's unmute. There you go. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like I have a exercise bike in my garage that I should be using for knee flexibility. And, you know, I just don't go out and do it. So that is on my list. And so to go across the top, the goal would be to ride the bike. Is that where you put in how much time, even if it just starts with 5 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. So you could say, get on the exercise bike 5 minutes a day. It could be a day, or it could be 5 minutes, 5 days a week. Right.
And then so the next one is just putting it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And then the third box, that would be to set a time, like within an hour of getting up, or is that specific enough?
So you can say, when are you going to start getting on your bike? Today?
Yeah, I'll do it today. Well, I'm already up.
Today. So starting today, right?
Yeah.
So that would be, starting today, I'm going to start getting on my bike 5 days a week. And then like, as you build on that, you can continue to build on that. And that's the next thing we're going to do is, you know, starting with 5 minutes and then maybe increasing to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Right? And then maybe increasing to an hour within a month or two.
And so, yeah, the first action would be to set a time to go out and do it. Like I could do it like at 3 o'clock today.
Yeah, good. Love it.
Okay. And then the last one, well, that kind of takes care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it's good to have a regular time, right? Like to schedule it in, and we'll get to that as well.
Okay.
Because when we just kind of say, okay, I'm gonna get on my bike today, like sometimes it just doesn't happen, right? But if you say, okay, like every morning I'm just gonna get on and it just becomes routine, then it's a lot easier. Or like
You're frozen.
or are you frozen?
Oh, there you are.
Okay. Did you guys hear what I last said?
No, we didn't.
About getting into a routine. If you set a specific time of when to do something, then it's easier to get it into a regular routine, as opposed to just saying, okay, I'm going to get on my bike tomorrow. But if you say, hey, I'm going to just get on my bike every day after breakfast or every day after lunch, right? And we'll get into that as well in terms of scheduling it in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Marsha. That's great. Anybody else want to share? Okay, so the next thing we're going to do from there is, now that you have your goal, actually going to do. So this is going to be the goal setting handout here. Let me see if I can share my screen. This one. So the goals that you have, can you see this? For the next week, the next month, and these are all going to be SMART goals. These are all SMART goals relating to those areas that you kind of need a little bit more attention or love for. So for example, for Marsha, getting on your bike 5 days a week for 5 minutes, that would be for this next week. Yeah. And then maybe for the next month, you can increase it to 30 minutes a day. Right. So you don't have to have 3 goals for each of these sections. Just have space for that. This is for next week, next month, the 3 months, 6 months, next year, next 5 years, and then 10 years. So see how you go with this. Sometimes it's easier to work kind of from 10 years and then working back. Okay, if my goal is to buy a house in 10 years, like to have the money to buy a house in 10 years, what needs to happen in 5 years? What needs to happen within this year, right? How do I need to save for that? And kind of breaking that down. So more vague. And then as they become closer to us, then they're more specific and measurable and attainable. But really you want to try to make all of these SMART goals if possible. So this exercise just kind of helps us look a little bit further, right? Like knowing that it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but you know, kind of a general idea, big picture idea of the future and what you want. And sometimes in these like 3, 5, 10 years out goals might be more like career oriented goals, right? Or like more like broader living. Like, do you still want to be living here? Like, what's your lifestyle look like, right? What does it look like to you? Like for Marsha, it might be, hey, you might want to run a marathon in a year or in 5 years. I don't know. That could be like, you know, a physical or a bike. You know, you might want to do like STP, Seattle to Portland. That'd be fun. But kind of thinking, you know, along that line of physical activity, do you have a bigger goal? You know, yeah.
The goal is, you know, flexibility and mobility as I get into more senior years.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so is that specific enough though?
That would be like more maintaining. So it's kind of a big, broader goal. And then as you think about like, okay, how am I going to maintain that? What needs to be done to maintain that would be more of a consistency of getting regular activity, right? And in the next month, like add a yoga class,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Once a week or something like that in the next month. So you might start off with the biking and you're at home first, And then
Mhm.
maybe in the next month, okay, attend a yoga class once a week. Right.
Okay.
So how are you going to maintain that flexibility and mobility through the years?
Okay.
Right. Like just little things like that. Yeah.
I really like that because it's adding little bit step by step, so it'll remain obtainable.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really important because sometimes we get these big goals and they're kind of intimidating, right? And so when we can break them down into specific, like measurable, attainable steps, then it's like, okay, I could do that. I can get on, you can get on your bike for 5 minutes today. That sounds doable, right?
So maybe the goal right off the get-go is the flexibility and strength. Not the bike riding. The bike riding is a means to do the project. That my larger goal is that to stay flexible and mobile. And the bike riding is just a small piece of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 So the fuller picture might be, you get better stamina, right?
Mhm.
You're maybe you are doing more like weightlifting, like strength training too. Maybe you add that into your regimen later, do some weights 3 times a week with the yoga. So it would, definitely add up, but I wouldn't suggest doing it all
Right.
now, right? So,
Yeah.
but that might be like, your week goal, doing the bike in 1 month, maybe adding the yoga, maybe within 3 months, adding some strength training.
Okay.
So maybe doing a strength class, maybe going to the community center. I don't know if you live where do you live, Marcia?
I live in Fife.
You live in Fife. Okay. I was gonna say, like, the community center here, I live in Federal Way, and the community center here is really good. I mean, there are strength classes, like just group fitness classes.
Mhm.
There's a gym, and I'm sure, at any gym they have fitness classes. And so if working out with or exercising with a group helps you be more accountable, then that might be something that you want to add. Or doing it at home. I mean, there are tons of videos now you could do at home, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then for me, like your creativity, if drawing is or painting is something that you want to kind of pick up just for creativity, or even Chinese brush painting, right? Like finding a group to do that with, or like online, there's so much stuff online now, right? Because of COVID, like there's so many like free classes you can just do in short clips, like 20 minutes watercolor. Yeah.
Where can I find those information? I mean, you just type in says class.
Yeah, you could type in like
type the class.
free watercolor tutorial, or like free
Okay.
drawing
Okay.
tutorial.
Okay, got it. Mhm.
Yeah. And Shelby, so you had just moved, Shelby. So you said that you're kind of getting back into the social, physical activity, relationship stuff in your new environment.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty recent. I've been here for like a little over a week.
Oh, wow. That's really recent. Okay. So what are
Yeah.
some goals pertaining to that?
Yeah, so I want to go to one public event a month. I'm starting small because I don't want to like stress myself out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like, I do have some family out here, so obviously stay social with them. I have some other things that I have on here that aren't really related to that, but I also want to obviously improve my financial situation. So obviously I actually also do like some side things. I actually do art, and I'm also a part-time health coach actually as well.
Okay, cool.
But so I like that I'm doing those, but I'm also looking for an additional job. So that's part of also the social goal and the financial goal kind of combined into one.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are definitely some of my main focuses for like the next probably like for the next like, for the next week/month.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Yeah, so really breaking them down to smaller steps, right? Like how are you going to
Yes, okay.
yeah.
Yes, okay. So obviously some of the things I've already been doing, applying to different places that I believe in their mission. I feel like I want to actually promote their business. So I have been doing that. I guess I could quantify it by say like apply to X number a day. I haven't quantified it yet, so I should probably think about that. I don't know what number I feel most comfortable with.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Or apply to X number a week, right?
Yeah, or X number a week, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to kind of hold yourself accountable for still taking that action to look for something that fits. Yeah. And I like the idea of like attending one
definitely.
public event a month. I like that. That's good. That's a smart goal. And there's so many events.
Yeah, there are. And I have the Meetup app. I actually went on a hike out in Squim earlier this week.
Okay.
With like a group of people, and that was really fun. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to do more stuff like that and
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
involved
cool.
in community stuff. I mean, if
Right.
I do more than one event a week, more than one a month, then I'm totally happy with that. But I just want to set the bar like at least once a month.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that too, because everything above that is bonus, right? And
Yes, then
and
it's all gravy, and I
attainable.
can just be like, go me. Yeah.
Right. No, I like, yeah, I think setting the bar lower than you think is always better because it's a confidence booster. If you do like 2 things a month, it's like, yes, I feel good about it, then that's cool. Then like next month you can do 2, right? But starting low and going slow is good because we don't necessarily want to overwhelm ourselves so much, right? If you said like one public thing a week, that would be like then that might add stress. Okay, what am I going to do this week? Like, oh my god, I got to do something, right? And then you
Yes.
so
And I don't want to like set myself up to be hopeless. Oh, sorry. The audio is like super delayed on my end. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I might be my connection. You're good.
Oh no, I'm like kind of out in the boonies, so
Oh,
my
are you?
connection's definitely not great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All good. Thanks for joining. This would be your one public event. All right, cool. Anybody else want to share their goals or kind of like how this exercise was their 1 week, 1 week, 1 month, 3 month, how that exercise is. Okay. So then the last thing is to actually like really bring it down to what we're going to do this week. So this is in the weekly schedule one. Let me pull this up. So this is like what you would see in a calendar, right? Where is it? Here we go. So this is what you would see maybe in a planner. So this week, and today's Saturday, so it's perfect. So this could start tomorrow, this Sunday. Right, so this is just like a sample week here. And putting in like, okay, what are you gonna fit in here, right? So, and you can put this week's goals. So you already on this last one, you had this week's goal. So you can write them in here in the bottom and then figure out how you're gonna fit those in. So you can fill this in the easy stuff first. For example, if you're still working, you would fill in, 8 to 5, whatever, or 9 to 5 working, work, right? And then maybe your meals, right? So if home cooking was something that I wanted to do more of, I would probably plan that in here. Okay, it's gonna maybe take me 30 minutes prep or 30 minutes to an hour prep and then half an hour to eat, right? So you don't want to rush those things. You want to actually give yourself some time. So if you know that you got to be at work at 9, or let's do dinner, it's easier to plan. So you're back at home by 5, and then you want to kind of make your meal, maybe schedule in time to actually prepare and make your meal, if that's one of your goals, or to draw, right? Or to do your art or journal. You might put in a few hours in the afternoon here, or to be on your bike, right? For Marcia, when are you going to be on your bike? 3 o'clock today. And Nora's going to find out alternatives for her cheese. So when is she going to go to the store, right? To figure that, to look at that. So kind of planning that in. So this really brings it down to kind of the nitty gritty and with the plan of what you can do this week. Yeah, and then for Shelby, her outings, right? When is she gonna, planning in time of when you're gonna apply to those places, maybe after a couple hours in the afternoon, when you're gonna have time for your art, right? The hiking activities, maybe on a Saturday, maybe the whole day Saturday, an outing. So planning that in and looking at your schedule here.
Yeah, the scheduling part really helps too, because then you're able to really see it and be like, oh, I can fit it in on this day. And then you realize that you do have a lot more time for the things that you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah, because oftentimes time is a big excuse, right? Like, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. But then when you actually schedule everything in, your weekly by the hours, you realize, like, I actually have a lot of time. Right? And you can schedule, you can block in some buffer, right? Commute time. Like, you're not just gonna wake up and go to work. There's like, brushing your teeth time, kind of reading the paper, right? Like that kind of time. So you do want some buffer in there, but you'll also maybe hopefully notice when you're doing this that there is a lot of time available.
Yeah, one of my goals is creating more of a routine. And so using this kind of format and laying it out and getting to bed at a better time. So limiting my screen time and just reading before bed. I've been implementing that and it's been wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's a huge thing, screen time too, because we don't usually plan that in. It just happens. And then it's a time suck, screen time, right? Like watching TV, Facebook, kind of scrolling down YouTube, right? It's kind of a time suck. And so if you can recognize that that's a time suck for you, schedule it in. Right? If you're not able to just like spend 5 minutes doing it and you end up like spending an hour or two, then just schedule that in. Like, hey, okay, between that like 7 and 8, I'm gonna just surf the internet or watch TV, right? And then at 8, like, I'm cutting that out. I'm gonna wind down and start going to wind down to bed, right? Read, chill out, stretch maybe. So yeah.
Yeah, and also like with like our brains associate things with other things. So like for me, I realized that I was watching TV while eating, which doesn't really help with my digestion. But then I started recognizing that my brain was like, oh, this is what we do. And it's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good. That's great. Thanks. Thank you. We often do that. We often multitask, right? That's like a whole nother talk. Like
Yeah.
slowing down and trying to like do one thing at a time, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so everyone that's on the call here, we have another wonderful class with Hansie on Manifest Your Desires, April 1st at noon. So that link to register is on our website. So wanted to let y'all know about it.
Yeah. That one's also thinking about your like what you want, but more on a visceral level. More working on like what emotionally or mentally is holding you back. Right. So
And sometimes we don't realize that some emotions in the subconscious are doing that.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that'll be a really great workshop.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. guys some time. How is this for filling in kind of the weekly thing? You guys feel good about what you have?
Mhm.
Maybe Nora.
I've got my bike on there.
Yeah, good, good.
It's not many minutes on that whole week, but
At least you can fill it in. Well, I mean, if you see that you have a lot of time, you might want to put in some like gentle stretching,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
or even just like time to read. You don't have an idea already, like the community center, the gym, or if you wanted to do it online at home,
Mhm.
looking into that. And then you also said, Marcia, spirituality was one of
Right.
the things that you had low on. So spiritual, you know, I think of spirituality as feeling connected to something bigger than yourself, like feeling connection and meaning and purpose to something bigger than yourself. So, and anything you're doing that makes you feel connection to something bigger than yourself. So it's not just being part of a community or being part of a family, which we all are, but actually feeling connected and purpose with that.
Okay.
So there are lots of, you know, so maybe finding an outlet for you that would help you feel more connection. So a common one is like hiking and nature, right? Or if you have a church group or a religious group, you know, going to church or tapping into Bible study, if
Mhm.
you're religious.
Is it walking? Is it
Yeah,
walking? Is it part of?
walking. Yeah, that
Okay.
can be spiritual.
Okay.
But you have to kind of get in the space, right? So it's not just walking. You have, you know, it's actually being part of nature, like something bigger, and noticing that you are part of something bigger. So it's a little bit of a mindset there too, right? So it's like there's a difference
so
between
it's
like
not
walking to walk and like to exercise.
right. Exercise.
Yeah, and actually feeling like being mindful about it.
Okay.
Mindful about the places.
Yeah, and about what you're
walking.
doing. Yeah, and feeling connected to that movement.
Okay.
Right.
Great idea.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end. Any questions or feedback, or anybody want to share how this process is for them?
Well, something that hit me was the comment about association of watching TV and eating. And I'm thinking I have to somehow put that into I mean, I think that's connected to the whole eating thing, but how would you quantify that? Just like say limit, like, I don't think I could go cold turkey, never eat in front of the television.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's a really smart thing to want to do.
Yeah.
So thank you for mentioning that, because I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. So part of that would be giving yourself time to watch TV and time to eat.
And have them be separate.
Yeah, and have them be separate, right? So a lot of times we do think we multitask because we don't feel like we have time, right? Like we're eating in the car, we're eating while we're commuting, we're like eating and talking, we're talking and walking, right? We're doing multiple things at once because we don't feel like we have time. But in that weekly schedule, that last one, you know, scheduling in, okay, I'm going to watch a movie this time, and maybe even scheduling in when it's okay to eat in front of the TV, right? Sometimes it's okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
thinking it's, for me, it's not, because I lose track of what I'm eating.
Yeah.
And I end up eating more than I need.
Yeah. So
I'd like to wean myself off of that.
Yeah. So preparing your meal or preparing your food beforehand, like separately from the TV.
Yeah.
Could be one thing, like preparing your mood.
Just to somehow separate it out.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's important. Thank you.
yeah, you can thank Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Cool. Any other last thoughts or questions?
No,
No.
it was very good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
There are a lot of thought provoking
Yeah, this-
and about the eating in front of the TV. My husband likes to eat in the TV. So now what? In front of the TV.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so you know, partners and whoever you're living with influence us too, right?
Mhm.
And so trying to get them on board with, you know, maybe just setting one day a week, Marcia, where you can just eat together and just eat and kind of connect with each other and not in front of the TV.
Yeah, or one meal a day or something.
Yeah,
I
one
like
meal
that
a
idea.
day, 1 meal a week, whatever you think is attainable for you and him and him. It has to be for him too.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Huh.
Okay, thank you. Great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
So cool. I'm going to share my email in here. That's my email. And then integrative health and wellness.net is my website. And on my website, there's a list of events the workshops that I'm going to be doing this month and in the future. And if you want to share your email, you can either direct message me or you can sign up through my website on my mailing list. And the mailing list is really just sending out my events, like when I'm doing workshops.
So it's not a bunch of emails, it's just.
Yeah. It's just whenever I'm doing a workshop. I try to minimize it. I mean, Nora's on my list and May, I think you're on my list. So it's not, and Gail as well. It's not like,
Yeah, it's not like forever. It's every once in a
I
while.
don't think I
Yeah.
do.
It's not obnoxious. It's just
It's
the
not
right
enough.
amount.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good feedback.
Exactly, not saturated.
No.
Well,
Do you know, I don't get events though. On my email, only the
Okay,
Tai
I'll
Chi stuff.
see if you're in that one. Yeah, I know. I think I might actually not have put you on my but okay, I'll put you in, May.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Cool. Any other last thoughts or questions? All right, cool. Well, thanks. I hope this was helpful. Shelby, if you need like any help or you want to bounce off ideas for the health coaching thing or like how to market or like kind of reach out, like those email. So thanks. If that's something you want to like
Yeah, that
build.
would be amazing because I'm pretty new. I graduated in May,
Uh-huh. Which
I'm pretty new. I've only worked with like 3 people.
Okay, yeah. And which program
Yeah.
did you take?
Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Yeah, okay. So the same one, right?
Oh, you did the same one? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we had the Circle of Life. It was just like yeah, I guess the colorful version. What year did you do it?
It's frozen.
oh,
Yeah.
it froze.
So we,
Oh, Hansie.
You back?
I think it
Um,
froze again. Oh, there you are.
I think I'm back. Okay. But can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay, I can
2013.
hear you now.
Yeah, 20.
Oh, awesome. So you have a decent amount of experience.
I have some experience. Yeah. And so this workshop right here is, you know, you can kind of see it in action, right? Like how I just applied it. Like what you learned in
Yeah, I
that.
know, it's fantastic. I want to get as much of this as possible, like as
Yeah.
much like exposure, like watching other people do it, being part of the process, being on this end of it. Like I want all of it.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. Awesome.
Yay.
Maybe you'll be giving some workshops too in the future.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I'll keep learning. I'm always
Yeah.
open to learning and practicing.
All right, cool guys. Any other last comments or thoughts?
Well,
thank you.
Aw, yay. And thank you all for being here. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Everyone have a wonderful weekend and
see
reach out
you
if you've
too.
got questions and if you need those handouts sent via email if you had any troubles in the chat box.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your
All right.
time.
Have a great weekend.
Thank
Happy
you
New
very
Year.
You
much.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.